So welcome to the window to Dubai.
Thank you, Will.
I'm here with Briar Prestidge. I got it right? All right. So actually, I thought that was the name of your company. That's your actual name. And you named the company the same, correct?
I did. Yes, I am a company.
You're your own personal brand. I love
it. Yes.
So we kind of overlap a little bit in what we do, but it sounds like you have been more focused on kind of personal branding project recently, and you're doing PR, which is something that I'm not normally involved with. So you're combining the whole social PR and kind of brand reputation for individuals. Can you tell me more just kind of like how you're doing all that?
Absolutely. So the kind of people that we work with are very much, founders of companies or spokesperson for the company. So they might be a high profile CEO, they might be an author, they might be a high profile business strategist, whoever they are. And really what we do is build up their reputations. And whilst we're building up their reputations, we build up the reputation of the company. So really this is through an integrated strategy. It would be PR, obviously plays into it, reaching out to publications, maintaining the media relations. We also do as well speaking engagements, so organizing that, negotiating on their behalf, organizing the flights, whatever it is that they need.
Yeah.
We would also as well do social media, which is a huge thing, as you know, these days. So actually maintaining and managing their social channels. So LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube. For one of our clients, we launched a podcasting series. So we've been working on a range of different projects. As well, we would dabble in sort of the Google AdWords, create basic sort of websites, so whether it's through WordPress or Squarespace. So then they've got that kind of landing page so that when someone is looking for a speaker like them or looking for their press kit, media kit, whatever it is, then they can go through that individual.
And so you're creating a halo effect over their business through personal branding, essentially, is what you're doing.
Absolutely. So obviously the company has its own brand, and then the founder has a brand or the CEO has a brand, and we really work the two in together. How can we leverage both brands while keeping them as separate identities?
Yeah. And you also have kind of a show that you've been doing, which is Deals and High Heels. You kind of launched that too, which is actually your Instagram handle too.
Yeah, well, you know what? I practice what I preach, I like to say. And I think that that's really important. How could someone trust me in doing like PR or see the value, I guess, in building up their own brand if I wasn't doing the same? So, coming to something like this today, is a really great way for me to collaborate with you, obviously to promote what we do.
Yeah.
We do the Deals and High Heels shows as well. So with this, I'm a huge advocate for lifelong learning and also maintaining a sense of community. I really feel like so many networking events that you go to here in Dubai very much have that kind of, spray and pray with your business cards. You kind of go in, speak to a couple of people, walk away feeling disappointed. And I didn't want to create anything like that. I very much wanted a place where, we'd have a speaker come in, present, talk about something around personal, professional development. The ladies can all learn, all listen. And then, they really feel like they've got a friend and a bit of a community that they can bounce ideas from.
Yeah. And you kind of have a unique journey to get to Dubai, right? Because you started in New Zealand, you went to Melbourne, then you go to London, then you go to New York, and you kind of end up here. Like, tell me more just about the journey of like how you ended up actually in Dubai.
Wow. I don't think I ever would have come straight from New Zealand to Dubai. I'm sure that you're a bit the same coming from America to Dubai. It's kind of a bit off the charts, so to speak.
Yeah.
But no, very glad to be here. I guess for me, I grew up on a farm. So a very small town, which you never would have heard of, called Darfield. It's just near the mountains. And we had a lot of animals. I went to the university there. And I guess following graduation, I was starting to wonder, what would I do? I'd graduated with a Bachelor of Speech and Language Pathology, but it was one of those instances where although I've got a lot of respect for people who work in that industry, I just really didn't feel like it was me. So I moved to Australia, to Melbourne in St Kilda. I started working as a waitress. Cut a long story short, felt very depressed. Felt like it wasn't didn't know what to do. No one was hiring me. And you know what it's like when you're a new grad.
I was a waiter one time, and I was the world's worst waiter of all time.
Yeah.
I forgot orders all the time. People would be like, you forgot to put my order. I'm like, I would just forget all that. I was the worst waiter ever.
You know, I have huge respect for good waiters. Like, it's really an art, right?
Yeah.
By the time I finished, I could carry stacks of plates on my arms. I was so strong. I was memorizing orders of like table of 5, like 3 course, and everyone was looking at me like, oh, do you want to write that down? I was like, no, I've got it, sort of thing. But I don't know, I one day I just woke up and I thought, I'm so depressed here. Why don't I just move to New York City? I just had that thought.
Yeah.
And of course, friends and family thought that I was pretty crazy, as you can imagine. I then worked solidly for the next 8 weeks, saved up every single penny, and then moved to New York with a couple of $1,000 in my pocket and moved into a hostel, got a job waitressing, started doing my real estate license. And really, that's where in New York, I started becoming very passionate about business and actually proactively driving my career. You know, I think that you've got 2 kinds of people. You've got the kind of people who go out there, they invest in their lifelong learning, they're out gaining new information, they're trying to meet new people, seeking skills, that sort of people. And then you've got people who just, you know, will stay in the same job for 10 years and wonder why all of these people are making gains in their career, doing these things, working in a completely different profession altogether.
Yeah.
So, I started reading a lot of business books. I started investing in my health, started exercising a lot more. And really, it was living so far away from everyone that I was like, wow, I can actually do anything in my life if I have a bit of determination, some guts, and just break everything down systematically and get it done, right? So after my visa ran out, which I was very upset about at the time, you know what a struggle it is with visas, I moved to London. So I started working as a recruitment consultant, an executive headhunter. And really this taught me all about business development, sales, how to position people as well, which comes into a lot of our branding work that we do today. And then I started building websites on the side. I started doing digital marketing. That's when I did my digital marketing diploma. And then that's really how it all started and how I transitioned then to running a marketing agency, because I really did see a gap in the market in what we did. Building the influence of people is very much a buzzword. And, a lot of agencies, even the big agencies who've been around for many years, don't quite know the unique recipe. So I really think that we do bring something quite special to the market.
This is something that I always tell people when I talk about just social media management, marketing, content creation, is that there's a lot of PR companies in Dubai that say they do digital, but they don't actually do digital. They just have a team of people that do it, and they do it because they're supposed to, but they don't have a strategy and really understand how to execute it. They probably don't even have their own Instagrams. They don't actually understand it.
Yeah.
It seems like that's common here in Dubai.
It really is. And I see a lot of even agencies' Instagrams, and I can see that they just don't even know how the Instagram algorithm works, right?
Yeah.
All the algorithms and all of the social media platforms are very unique. There's a different culture on LinkedIn. Twitter, you've got all the media relations on there. It's quite like a bitchy kind of culture on Twitter,
That's where you go to complain.
Definitely, and moan, But, and that's also where you go to stay abreast of industry news and stuff. Yeah. And then on Instagram, it's a little bit more down to earth. The other day I posted a picture of one of my clients in his new slow cooker. So you can kind of get away with, doing a lot more sort of casual things on Instagram. But I think, if you do have a vision to really proactively drive your career and really be seen as a thought leader within your industry, then you do need to be on all of the social media platforms. I really believe that.
Yeah, even I did the content creator conference like a couple of weeks ago. And one of the things we talked about with the personal trainers is that they should actually be on LinkedIn. You think about all the fitness people are on Instagram marketing to each other, but they're not on LinkedIn marketing to the office worker who would actually hire them.
This is so true. I had this exact conversation literally I think it was a year and a quarter ago or something, to one of the fitness trainers. I said, there is nobody doing what you're doing on LinkedIn, right? There's a complete niche for you to kind of break in there. And the thing with LinkedIn as well, the algorithm is very, very free. So say I'm on LinkedIn, I like your post, it's then shared out to my entire network.
Yeah.
Whereas on Facebook and Instagram, there's really not a lot of reach you're getting. So you do have to really put in the long-term gain to kind of see the results, that you're looking for.
I want to go back to just one thing that you mentioned about kind of traveling around and kind of finding just the ability to get more done when you got to New York. It kind of felt like that's what you were saying, is because I have this conversation a lot with people because I'm from the United States. So most people don't leave the United States and come to Dubai and open a company. It's not the most common.
Yeah.
Most people want to go to the United States. And I feel like there is something unique about migrating to another part of the world and starting a business. And it's kind of why I think Dubai is unique, is because everybody 80% of the population is pretty much, an expat, right? So I don't know, did you kind of feel when you migrated, you were just able to focus on you and what you wanted to do more? That's what I felt like for myself.
No, absolutely. And I think especially when you are in university or when you are like 21, your friends mean so much to you and you do dedicate a lot of your time to your friends. Whereas when you do move overseas, you're kind of forced to get real with yourself, right?
Yeah.
That's really where I remember once I was sitting in our house and we've got this in New York and we had this TV which never worked. So I was just like sitting there looking at it. And I was really thinking a lot, like, who am I? Like, what do I want in my life? And this is really important questions that everyone should be asking themselves. And, it's part of the work that we do with our clients that we work with is, really getting to the depths of, what are their values? What's their expertise? What makes them so special? And what is their story and their message that they should be sharing? Because a lot of the time it does need some sort of repositioning or
actually just thought.
Or thought, absolutely.
A lot of them haven't put the thought out,
And for a lot of entrepreneurs and CEOs, when do you have time to sort of really sit down and collect your thoughts each day? But I think it's really important that you do get that time.
Yeah. And you also said that someone contacted you from Amazon Prime in Miami to do, you're doing the show here with them. You kind of some collaboration with them.
Yeah. So basically through the work that we did, through the work that we do here in the Middle East, I got contacted on Instagram, out of all places. So you should definitely be on Instagram, everyone, by the executive producer who's based in Miami. And he said to me, and we're obviously working together on this, so I'm in charge of organizing the team of entrepreneurs, quite high profile entrepreneurs and CEOs here in the Middle East, and also the APAC region. It's for season 2 of The Movement. So if you are listening to this, you can find it on The Movement if you go searching for it. And yeah, basically we've got these teams competing against Canada, America, and also Europe as well, all competing to solve a socio-economic issue. So that's going to be filmed in July next year. But I've been actively interviewing and, sourcing and working out who is really going to be the best people to represent Dubai, very credible but authentic kind of people.
Nice. And so they just randomly contact you, like how it goes down. It goes down in the DM, right? Like
yeah, it was a DM. I'm not even joking. Chris is great, and he messaged me via DM, and he was like, "Hey, here's the situation. I heard about the work that you do. Let's chat," sort of thing.
It's funny because I was making a joke about that, but that's actually how almost 80% of the client or the people that I got on the show mostly came from Instagram
That's
DMs.
How we met, right?
I just was randomly DMing people. And it's funny, when I did the content creator conference, most of the people that showed up, I just DM'd them. I mean, we did marketing and stuff, but the majority of the people that actually showed up, I personally invited them via DM, sent them a link, had them sign up, and actually engaged with them in a conversation about what we're going to talk about at the conference, who's going to be speaking. I think it's like a missed thing on Instagram, like how easy it is to reach out to someone. I mean, there's a lot of creepy stuff that goes down, but real business stuff that can be done just via DM on Instagram.
Oh, absolutely. And a lot of the CEOs who are on Instagram do have their guard down, right? When they're on LinkedIn, they've got their guards up.
Yeah.
People are kind of doing business. They're quite busy throughout their day. Whereas if they're on Instagram, they're in a friendly mood, maybe looking at pictures of friends or family.
Yeah.
And if they do get a DM, it's kind of like, oh, this is really personal. This sounds great.
Well, on LinkedIn, you get a lot of the spammy, salesy. Someone connects with you, and then you just get this like long email where it's just like with a PDF, and you're like, "Whoa!" You don't even read it.
Run for the hills, right?
But on Instagram, you're right. When someone DMs you, it definitely feels way more personal.
Yeah.
So, what do you think? Obviously, is your main message that you want to deliver is about personal branding strategy? What you think is the most important? Maybe top 2-3 things.
First of all, I would definitely, if you are a high-profile individual, I would definitely look to working with someone. More often than not now, I'm on social media and I just see people contributing to the noise, adding to the noise rather than rising above it. So I think it's really important that you are very clear with your message that you want to be putting out there and you are putting your best foot forward. I think definitely as well having an integrated strategy, and really using the platforms each for what they're made for. So for instance, on LinkedIn, keeping it really personal. You can be creating some videos as well. So videos get about 20% more reach than other pieces of content. If you are looking to become an influencer on LinkedIn, you should start writing, daily sort of articles. They don't need to be incredibly long, but really building on that. Definitely have a professional photo shoot as well. I think this is the number one thing. You don't have to spend a considerable amount, but do definitely invest around, 5,000 dirhams to go out there, get 10 pictures that you'll use for the rest of your career. Definitely as well, just go out there, mix and mingle. For me, what works really well, and I think you do a lot of this as well, but actually map out the people in the city that you need to meet. Yeah. Whether they're in the media, whether they are CEOs, whether they're in your target market, whether they just look like interesting characters. And if you are well positioned online, and you do send them a DM, of course they're going to message back. Yeah. So it's so important actually to look like a good person to meet online.
Yeah. I think for me, what I noticed, because what I think that I did successfully so far is that I engage with other people.
Yeah.
I think that my biggest thing that I tell everyone that I work with is that if you're going to post really good content and just hope everybody likes it, it's not even that people don't like it. They're just not always going to engage with it. It's not guaranteed, right? I like stuff all the time that I don't tap like or I don't comment. I like a lot of stuff that I never comment on. I do like it. I just don't comment. The people that I comment on usually comment on my stuff.
Absolutely. We call them digital partnerships.
And I return the favor, even if it's good or not. I just tend to be like, hey, really cool, because I know that they comment on mine. And I think that is where it's missed a lot. A lot of people create a lot of content, they put it out, and then they just expect people to like them. They don't understand. And I've brought a lot of guests on the show based on them reposting my stuff or liking my stuff, commenting, like Mr. and Mrs. Muscle. They commented on every photo that I was posting for like a month. They wanted to be on the show. I know they wanted to be on the show, but it was like after a while, I was like, how could I would kept going to their page. And I was like, well, they seem interesting. Maybe I should. And they only had like 3,000 followers at the time. They didn't have like a big following. So I think that level, if you're really, it's really about building a community. That's the main thing that I think people don't understand. They just post and expect to be liked and they don't engage back.
Well, the algorithms are built on engagement, aren't they? You know, if you comment on a picture, it's going to be rated as a popular picture and it's going to be shared out more so to the community. So it is really important. And like what you say, you have to engage to get, right?
Yeah. And so I think it's a good episode so far. How can people find you, contact you? How can they get a hold of you?
So yeah, I'm very easy to get in touch with, in all honesty. I'm very out there. So obviously you can go to dealsandhighheels.com. So that's our Deals and High Heels brand. You can also go to briarprestidge.com, which is our agency's brand. And then we've got various different channels on social media, both under the Deals and High Heels one and the Briar Prestidge. But main place you can catch me is probably Instagram, which is @Deals and High Heels.
Awesome. I think it's a good episode. Thank you.
Thank you, Will. Thanks for having me.
Yes.